if you are watching on Facebook, guys, just send me a little message to let me know that you can hear it. So yeah, home yoga practice routine, it takes dedication. And I think today what I'm going to be chatting about is just some easy kind of tools that you can implement to make it a bit easier. Those of you who are on my membership, those of you who are signing up to the beginners yoga course, and those of you who just did my 5-day challenge, it's about, making sure that you keep up that routine. We all know, okay, we all know that if we're practicing more, we feel better. But there's lots of things like Netflix, etc., that get in the way. I'm just checking. Everybody can hear me. Good. Okay. So lots of things that get in the way. And I've basically just put down 7 different things that we can do that can hopefully help us stick to our yoga routine a little bit better. So yeah, I've lost track now. I've lost track of how many lockdowns that we're in. It can be frustrating. It can be scary. You can feel like you've lost all control. And some of you in that middle bit where we could kind of go to yoga studios. I know that my own yoga studio was open for 3 months. You maybe just felt like you were getting back into that routine, and then we went into lockdown again. And for a lot of people, it was really hard. It was hard to feel like you were connected. It was hard to feel like, how can I keep up my yoga practice? How can I keep staying healthy if every 2 minutes we're going into another lockdown? So yeah, there's 7 steps that we're going to start looking at that will hopefully make it a little bit easier, help you to show up, help you to be more planned, help you to be accountable, helping you to persevere and have the positive attitude. And all of this stuff, that's what I'm here for. So if you ever do feel like you're lost or God, I just don't know what to do, send me a message. Like, I've been practicing yoga for a long time, and I've got to keep up that yoga practice because 1, it's my job, and 2, I know that it keeps me sane. So let me know what your problems are, and hopefully we can figure out how we can work together to make it work. Now, don't get me wrong, after a long day of work or a really, really busy day, the couch, a glass of wine, a Netflix series is going to be really, really tempting. And we sort of start to forget that feel-good rush of endorphins that we get after we do a yoga class. And we just get sort of drawn to the couch and vegging out. But I think all of us are now getting this kind of Netflix fatigue of just constantly watching things on the telly. And we're feeling it in our bodies. Our bodies are craving to move and to do stuff, because there's just not any more time that we can really spend on Netflix. So, okay, number 1 is really important, and that's to know yourself. Okay, so this is a really simple tool. Are you a morning person? Are you a night owl? Okay, I am a morning person. I know that at night, as soon as it hits kind of 8 p.m., like, I have no energy left whatsoever. And, when the sun goes down, I just probably want to read a book. I might want to have a bath. The idea of doing like a really fast vinyasa class is just out of the question. I could probably do a gravity yoga class. I could probably do a yoga nidra, but I am not a night owl, okay? I'm like asleep, conked out by 10 p.m. at the latest, but I'm quite an early riser. So I like to get up, this is gonna sound really lame, I'm not bragging. I like to get up at sort of 5:30, 6 a.m. every day. Obviously in the winter it's really hard, but when the light's up, I like to get up. And this is where I kind of feel like the most active. So think about what times a day you're kind of the most reliable. You're the most, the most kind of keen to do that exercise, the most keen to get out there and do something. And what times a day you're the least reliable, okay? What times a day are you kind of feeling quite tired? What times a day are you gonna probably drink a glass of wine instead of do a bit of exercise? And I would suggest, like, spend some time journaling about it. Think about your day, block your day into different sections. My favorite times of day really have been to exercise kind of around 9:30, 10 a.m. and maybe like 5:30. So the kind of transition between the workday to the evening. Those are sort of my favorite times. Or in the morning, I like to sit down, I do a bit of meditation, a bit of journaling, I do my admin stuff. I feel like really like, I just want to get things done, cleared away, and then I can spend some time on myself. And I want you to choose 3 categories, okay? So you're gonna have red, you're gonna have orange or amber, and you're gonna have green. And these are gonna kind of mark out your no-go, your maybe, and your yep, Okay, so red is going to be no practice yoga. Like, if I'm really honest with myself, I'm probably not going to do my yoga practice at this time. Yellow could be a good time, okay? Perhaps something like meditation or yoga nidra. So for me, I do like to do some yoga in the evening sometimes, but it's not going to be something fast. So that's going to be a yellow time for me. And then green, this is optimal time when you can practice. So maybe jot that down now, red, yellow, and green. And these are the times that you're gonna mark in the day. And you know those red zones. I'm not even gonna bother planning in a yoga class at this time because I'm just not gonna do it. So that's number one, know yourself, mark out your red, your yellow, and your green times, okay? And this will help with other future steps when we come to planning and stuff. So another one is bedtime can be yoga time. So we spend, I think it's like up to half or maybe more than half of our lifetime in our beds. Now, we're not asleep the entire time. Some of us spend a bit of time in the bed in the morning, and then some of us also spend a bit of time in the bed before we go to sleep. So you can mark or think about a few yoga poses that you could do while you're in the bed. Things like a happy baby, a supine twist, a child's pose, a banana pose. Like these kinds of stretches, they're yoga and you can do them in your bed. So you're like, okay, I know that I'm going to do these 5 poses in the morning before I get out of bed or in the evening before I go to sleep. Easy. And you're there. You're already on the mat, the bed, and you can do those poses there. And you also can do things like mindfulness, meditation, journaling, or nidra. So I've got my journal beside my bed. I try to do my gratitude journaling every night. I just write it down, a few things that I'm grateful for. And that is, that's another path of yoga. It's another path of getting to know yourself. I love a bit of yoga nidra at bed. So this idea that, you can take your yoga practice into your favorite place, which is probably your bed. And it is somewhere that you're going to spend, up to half of your life. So you may as well do a bit of yoga while you're there. So that's number 2, okay? Yoga can be in the bed. Number 3, create a plan, okay? I am very, very, very much need to create a plan. I use Asana, which is like a digital planning program. And I put everything in there because I have quite a busy life. And for those of you who are right now homeschooling, God damn, you have no time, okay? So you're gonna really need to plan this in because the days will just go. And then you'll be like, oh gosh, another week's gone by and I haven't done, what I wanted to do. I haven't done the yoga practice that I wanted to do. So I want you to map out what you might want to do, okay? And don't overdo it. Okay, so maybe you decide that you're going to practice 3 times a week instead of 6 times a week. And remember that practice doesn't need to be a physical practice. We just discussed that bedtime can be yoga time, meditation, journaling, yoga nidra. So decide what you want that to be. And know that it doesn't have to be that intense, vinyasa flow every time. You could be doing restorative, you could be doing yin yoga, you could be doing like 3 gravity yoga poses a night to help to develop that flexibility, that mobility. It could be shorter classes. So maybe you're doing like a 10-minute booty blast and you're like, yep, okay, I'm going to do that 10 minutes. I'm going to slot it in here. So then I want you to decide, okay, these are the kinds of yoga classes that I want to do. I want to do, gravity yoga 3 times a month. I want to do nidra twice a month. And then what you're going to do is look at your calendar and just take into consideration again, red, yellow, green. Red is the time that you're not going to practice yoga because you just know you're not reliable. Yellow, you could probably do something a little bit more easy. And green is when you're going to do those physical practices. And you might even mark those in your calendar. And then you're going to start to plug in those yoga classes. And honestly, if you're like me and it needs to be in the calendar or it's not going to be done, do it. If it's Asana, a program like that, digitally, put it on there. If it's, Post-it notes on the wall, do that. Whatever works for you. If you have a joint calendar with your family members, plop it in there. Then they know that time is yours. And also they'll hold you accountable. Be like, Mom, I thought you were doing yoga right now. Or, and that'll be like, oh yeah, crap, I actually have to do that because now people know that I've put that in the family calendar. Set an alarm. That's a really good one. Maybe 5-10 minutes before. I can't remember the person now, but it's a really good mindset thing. And she does this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. And it's a way to kind of like, boom, get you going. So she uses it a lot to wake up in the morning because she hears the alarm and wants to set it off. So if you know that you need to do something, just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at the end of that, you have to get up and go. It's a nice little tool, maybe something that'll work for you. So yeah, remember, if you don't put this stuff in, if you don't plan it, the weeks will fly by. We're already halfway through January, which is bonkers. And if you are someone who set a New Year's resolution, I'm not for these, but if you are someone who has done that, have you kept up with it or not? Have you put it in your calendar? Have you blocked it out? Make sure that you're doing that. Okay. So I want you today, if you can, to look at the rest of the week. Okay. So today's Monday. Do you have any time left? Could you do a bit of yoga today? If not, plan it out for the rest of the week. Okay. So that was number 3, plan it out, put it in the calendar. Number 4, set goals. Okay. And these don't have to be like crazy goals. Like if you're just starting your yoga practice and then you're like, right, I want to smash a headstand by the end of February. That might not be obtainable and you just might end up feeling really guilty. So working towards goals and targets always helps to kind of incentivize towards them. And it might just be something like, I'm setting a goal to practice yoga 3 times a week for 20 minutes, a time. That's a really easy way. So think about what you might be working towards. And it might not be like a specific pose. It might be, I need to breathe more clearly. You might need to feel less anxious. It's a really anxious, tricky time right now. So have a think right now. What kind of goals do you want to achieve? It might be, I want to achieve a full chaturanga. It might be something very emotional. But it's sort of thinking about those goals, and you might have a monthly goal, you might have an annual goal, you might have a 5-year goal, but they're really important to kind of keep touching into and check if you're making progress on that. So if you had a target of, let's say, I want to achieve a full chaturanga, well, then you know that you need to be probably doing at least 1 vinyasa class a week. You probably also need to be doing some shoulder stretches, and you probably need to be doing some core work and arm strengthening. So if that is the goal, then you need to make sure that the classes that you plot in aren't just super restorative, because then it's going to be pretty tricky to meet that goal. Number 5, find an accountability partner. I love this, okay? My accountability partner is Harriet. We both kind of hold each other accountable to exercise and yoga. I have some other friends who I sometimes practice yoga with. It's, at times it's a lot easier to have an accountability partner that you actually go to the physical yoga class with. But Zoom exists right now. There's lots of online stuff. So why not have an accountability partner and you both have to go to that Zoom class? And again, you plan that in, you set an alarm, you know that it's in the green zone or the yellow zone. So that's a good time for you to do it. Maybe you live with your accountability partner, maybe they live far away. The wonderful thing about the yoga classes right now is they're online, so everybody can practice together. I will be starting on Friday a Zoom yoga class with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and like all of their friends who kind of are dotted all around the world. Some of them haven't done like a stitch of yoga, but we're kind of booked in for the next 4 Fridays in a row. And they've all become each other's accountability partners. So they're all they all sort of said, we want to start yoga. We've never done it before. We feel like we're absolute crap with it. But they've all said, okay, here's, the amount of money that we need to pay. Here are the sessions, what do I need to buy? And they're all doing it together, which is really nice. And it's a nice way for them right now, 1 day a week, that they're going to do that yoga class. It's more fun to practice with someone. So if, you can do it with someone, even on Zoom, then it's really fun. And tell your accountability partner your goals, okay? And they can tell you their goals, and then you can kind of check in. It doesn't need to be like a formal situano. You can, be having a glass of wine with your morning coffee, just send a little voice note and check in with them. The Facebook group that I have, so if you're watching from Facebook, it's a wonderful way to have that kind of accountability and check in with each other. And we just finished that 5-day challenge, and it was so nice to see everybody pushing each other and encouraging each other and having that accountability within the group. So if you are looking for an accountability partner, head to the Yoga with Megan Facebook group, because that's an amazing way to find someone. Okay, so number 5, start slowly, babes, okay? We do not need to burn out, and we do not need to kill ourselves. This often happens. People set these New Year's resolutions, which are ridiculous in the first place, and they start going loads, as much as they possibly can. And then boom, what happens? Well, after a few weeks or a month, then they just can't do it anymore. They get an injury or they're just exhausted from it. So start slow so that you don't burn out. Create consistent routine, okay? And if for you that's, 1 class a week right now, great. Do that for a month. Know that you're hitting that 1 class a week. And then maybe you'll be like, oh, I can add another one in. And instead of feeling guilty and wrought with that kind of frustration, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel like you're achieving something. And then you can add more as you go. rather than being like, oh, I can't do this, and taking away to, maybe the point where you're at 0. Create that consistent routine, start small, set realistic goals, like I said at the beginning, and build in those recovery days. Even if it's a recovery type of yoga class, maybe something really restorative, maybe something with a bolster, that's a really nice way that you're giving yourself that calmness and that, restorative practice. Yeah, that's everything I wanted to say on that one. So number 6, mix it up and be creative. So he wouldn't recommend just doing the same yoga class every day, the same meditation every day, the same style every day. You will probably start to get bored unless you are like a natural kind of like Ashtanga sort of focus type person, and that's what you want to do all the time. I'm someone who needs that variety. And that's the wonderful thing about the Move with Megan membership, is that there's such a variety of classes that you can really kind of dip into lots of different things. So yeah, just make sure that you are mixing it up with different styles of classes, different lengths, different types of workshops. And if you aren't on the membership, then, you can hop over onto my YouTube page or even hang out in the Facebook group, because I do lots of different classes and lives. Just keep it exciting and keep learning as well. So that Facebook group's really good, because I'm going to be going live in there quite often. And again, choose those specific classes. And if it's something you've never tried before, give it a go. See what happens. You never know. That's the whole thing. Like, there's so many different styles of yoga, so many different styles of meditation, that there is something for everyone. I sort of relate this to dogs. There's so many different kinds of dogs, and I love that, everybody has that breed that just speaks to them. I'm a big dog breed, not a long hair breed. I would never get like a really shaggy tiny dog, but someone else is going to absolutely love that. And, I might not be that into Kundalini yoga right now, but, maybe vinyasa is my thing. And, in a few years, I might change my opinion, but there'll always be like a kind of yoga that suits me at that time. Just like I think there's always a kind of dog that will suit, people at any time. That's because I'm a dog person. So, there's some fun things that you can do. Every time you pick up your phone, maybe do 10 squats. I think we'd all have rock hard booties if we did that with how often we are on our phones. But maybe every time you get up to make a tea, do 10 squats. Make use of your cooking time. While you wait for your food to heat up, you could use this time to work on some stretches. Pop your leg or your foot onto the countertop, do some hamstring stretches, calf raises, or some squats. This is a really fun one. Set your timer for 5 minutes and then run around the room and tidy as fast as you possibly can, like a whirling dervish. And then you'll just burn some calories and get that blood flowing just from doing that. Also, you can turn TV time into active time. Some of my one-on-one clients, I tell them to do this, who have like really tight hamstrings. Grab a strap, work on, those hamstring stretches, do some pigeon poses while you're watching the TV. Get your butt off the couch and just do some stretches. You're still watching the TV, but you're making that time beneficial. Okay, so the last step that I think really helps us to create a home yoga practice that we'll stick to is creating a space that is for you, okay? So if you don't have a space in your house that feels conducive to practicing yoga, you're probably not going to do it because it's not inviting. You're going to have to set it up every time. And not all of us have the luxury of a really big space. Remember, you only really need the space of a mat. So it's really important to have this space. I think we probably can all conjure up a corner of the room or something that will work for us. Things to do, make sure that you clean it, okay? You will realize soon when you're in poses and having to hold them that you're looking up at things. You're going to notice dust, you're going to notice cobwebs, you're going to notice kind of books that are jaunty. Like, tidy it up so that you can keep your mind focused. And just make sure that you've got all the bits that you need, okay? All the props, because every time you get up to leave your practice, you're gonna kind of get yourself out of your practice. You're gonna be drawn to use your phone, etc. So yeah, make sure that your phone is away. There is nothing more distracting than seeing those notifications going off when you're trying to focus on your yoga practice. If you're watching from your phone, just turn off those notifications. Put your phone on airplane while you do the yoga class. It'll make you focus a lot better. If you want music, turn it on. If you want candles, light them. If you want it to be quiet, shut the door. Just really simple things that will make it easier to stick to that home yoga practice. So don't get me wrong, you know, I love exercise, but sometimes it just feels easier to skip it. And that's why I have to create these kind of implementations. I've got our bedroom, luckily, is quite big, and I've got a section in the bedroom where I do my filming and where I do my yoga practice. I did a yoga class this morning, got super sweaty, and you know, I feel a lot more peppy about a Monday than I would have if I didn't do that. Don't let this become, don't let this overwhelm you. Give yourself a fighting chance to show up and to do your yoga practice. Remind yourself of those feel-good endorphins, okay? It can be really tempting to watch another episode of Schitt's Creek. Trust me, I've been there. But you know, just remind yourself that actually Schitt's Creek will always be there. But what I need right now is to feel better in my body or my mind or, you know, anything like that. It will be there. So if you're watching and you're thinking, oh God, you know, I don't really know where to start. I haven't done much yoga before. I've done a bit, but I feel a bit lost. Then I really encourage you to join my 8-week beginner's yoga course. It's a surefire guarantee way to set a yoga routine. This is going to have recorded content that you can tap into. It's going to have tutorial videos. It's going to have classes, meditations, and we're also going to have 2 live classes a week. Each week, you're going to get that content, so you're not going to be overwhelmed. You're going to have really specific stuff that I want you to do. It's focused on making progress in your body, no one else's, and getting those routines set over those 8 weeks. It's fine to listen to this video now and be like, yeah, I'm going to do those things, and then we never speak again. Over those 8 weeks, I'm going to be constantly reminding you of those tools. I'm going to constantly be sort of holding your hand, making sure that you're doing this home practice. And then after that 8 weeks, hopefully a lot of that will be really embedded. So if you guys have any questions about the 8-week beginners course, I would love, 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 love to know them. And otherwise, have a lovely day. Do some yoga. Figure out what your red, green, and your yellow is. Make some plans, make some goals. You know, just jot down, do a bit of journaling. What would be great for you this week? Okay, if you've got any questions, let me know, and I will see you all very soon. Bye Facebook, bye Instagram.